Live and Local is proudly sponsored by Community First Credit Union and Waln Collision Center in Fairfax. This is a presentation of KCRG TV9 Live Events. Join KCRG TV9 in recognizing the hard work all of our graduates have accomplished this year. Congratulations, graduates.
Good evening and welcome, parents, siblings, grandparents, guests, friends, teachers, staff, district administrators, and school board members to the 54th John F. Kennedy High School commencement ceremony, live and in person. To begin our ceremony, I would like to introduce Anna Waters, Student Government Officer, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we continue standing, the Kennedy Jazz Choir Moonlight Express will perform the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of love. Ooh, ah.
Good evening. My name is Morgan Gers, and I want to welcome you all to the 2021 Kennedy graduation. First, I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. Parents, teachers, administrators, counselors, custodians. This ceremony would not be possible without all of you. I mean, look at this. People are actually together again. I'm going to be honest, when I sat down to write this speech, I was at a loss. I felt like I had so much to say, yet I had no idea how to say it. How do you welcome a group of people that you haven't seen in over a year? As I sat in front of my computer, I thought about how easy it would be for me to stand in front of you today and talk about how much our class has gone through in the past year. Given the world's current situation, that is all we seem to hear about. People are constantly reminding us to keep our heads up and to make the best out of a bad situation. However, continuing to smile through this year has been a huge challenge. We look at the previous classes with envy. Our year has been heartbreaking. I want to let each and every one of you know that it is okay to feel angry, upset, and defeated given the senior year we were dealt. Despite going through the pain of essentially losing a senior year, I want you to take a second to reflect. Look at where you all are today. Your cap, your gown, none of it would be yours without the perseverance you have all shown. Although this year was a milestone for many of us, one year does not determine who we are or what we are capable of. We are defined by the legacy that our class has created. We are defined by the passion and dedication we have carried throughout the past 13 years. Now, the night I wrote this speech, I was in my basement. It was about 1 a.m. My mom was yelling at me to go to bed. I couldn't sleep. I was so overwhelmed with thoughts, so I decided to take a little break and watch High School Musical 3. That was definitely a mistake, considering it made me cry quite a few times. In the movie, one of the most famous lines is, "We're all in this together." Now, I know it sounds cheesy, but I begin to think about it a little deeper. The class of 2021 really is all in this together. We have grown up together. We have survived a pandemic together. We have been through a 100-mile-per-hour windstorm together. And as I'm looking at all of you right now, I'm realizing that this is the last thing that we will do together. This is it. Your future begins the moment you walk out of those doors. The future holds a unique path for each and every one of you, and I wish you the best on your journey. No matter where we end up, we will always have one thing in common: the legacy we have left behind. Thank you for your time today, and congratulations to the class of 2021.
Good evening. My name is Bailey Wolf, Student Government Vice President. Kennedy High School is blessed to have a great fine arts program. We take great pride in our bands, orchestras, and choirs. Despite an unusual year, our music program still enjoyed several successes. In a year when choir programs around the country were shuttered, singers at Kennedy refused to let fierce storms or viruses get in the way of performing at the highest levels. Our show choirs produced 4 live competition quality performances. 4 singers were accepted into the All-State Choir, and Moonlight Vocal Jazz Ensemble finished in 2nd place in the Iowa Vocal Jazz Championships, their highest ranking ever. The Kennedy Band program also had an outstanding year. Here are some highlights. 4 band members were accepted into the Iowa All-State Band and Orchestra groups, and 1 student was selected as an alternate. The John F. Kennedy Marching Band was able to perform at a home football game and a playoff game this past fall. In December, the bands were able to put together a live-streamed holiday concert even though they did not have access to their rehearsal space. Our Kennedy Jazz 1 contributed track for KCCK's 2021 Corridor Jazz Project. Rufaro Musque was selected to perform with the 4A All-State Jazz Band again for his 2nd year. And all of the Kennedy bands performed in an in-person spring band concert earlier this month. But the most important accomplishment for the band program this year happened in January, when they were able to start making music together again at Kennedy. The Kennedy Orchestra flourished in the face of adversity. While learning at home during the first semester, 3 orchestra members were selected to the All-State Orchestra. Members made connections with music by creating 2 virtual performances. Once they came back in person at Kennedy, the orchestra presented their first solo/ensemble recital and were able to return to the auditorium for their senior showcase performance that featured Hannah Anderson, Lauren Gray, and Jared Jameson. They also brought their classic symphonic rock concert to a very energetic crowd. Let's applaud our fine arts program. We have heard from the orchestra, band, and jazz choir. Our concert choir will now perform "This Is the Day" by Damon Brown, and then we will have everyone rise for for the Kennedy alma mater.
Look at where we are, look at what we've done, look at what each and every one of us has become. A shining star so full of possibility.
Thank you and welcome to staff and family, but especially to the graduating class of 2021. My name is Elizabeth Bagby. I am one of the co-presidents of our senior class, and I'm honored today to be speaking before you as a representative of both Rama El Sheikh and I. While bittersweet as the first and last time together as one, I'm so happy that those of you who did show came to commemorate our many achievements as a class. We would like to start with a special shout out to all the amazing young women who made this year so special. Allison Hubble, our very own valedictorian. Morgan Gerst, our student government president. Shifa Tawil, our poet laureate. And 4 National Honor Society officers who made our class project impactful to the entire city of Cedar Rapids. Rafa El Sheikh, Rama El Sheikh, Audrey Miller, and Shifa Tawil. Our year has been filled with many disappointments, so we would like to take this time to highlight a few of the amazing achievements our class has seized through adversities that many of us can never begin to fathom. There are so many superstars like Drew Bartles, who smashed so many Kennedy records through men's track this season. And how about Jamie Scheck, who helped carry the Kennedy softball team to a state championship? And let's talk about Addie Parker and her insane success on the women's track team. Yeah, woo, that's right. This group has not only excelled through its many sports programs, but academically as well. The class of 2021 has exceeded all expectations, from Vishnu Kampella's perfect ACT score to the debate team's 5 senior national qualifiers, and most recently, winning the Nebraska State Electric Car Championship, courtesy of Kaylee Martin, Elizabeth Severson, and Emily Shaw. 60 valedictorians sit among us. That's more than any class in Kennedy High School's recent history. But our class didn't stop there. Yeah, that deserves a lot of props. Our class didn't stop there. Rafara Musque was nominated as an all-state jazz band member for his snazzy tenor sax. Hannah Anderson and Lauren Gray were also nominated as Division I at their state ensemble festival. Our speech, show choir, and theater groups have done amazing work over the past year, trying to create the best possible productions over extremely tough circumstances. Through the years, our class has had too many Fine Arts All-State nominations to count. As you can clearly see, our peers don't lack any talent. But because of the separated year we've had, it's sometimes hard to remember just how sick we really are. However, I decided I wanted to take this time to remind the class of 2021 of not only their highlights as students of Kennedy, but also their highlights personally. We don't know the behind the scenes of everyone's lives, but we do know that this year took something from us all. Yet, just as much as it took, we stole that energy right back and put it to working on ourselves. Whether that was taking up a new activity or sport this year, or engaging in other self-care habits like journaling or meditation, or even simply taking the time to self-reflect and learn new things about yourself. All of these moments alone have meant something to us. We've had the unique opportunity to experience the most monumental voting year in history, all while experiencing an overdue racial reckoning which exposed many of the faults we still bear and still have to learn from. Over this past year, we saw marches happening on every corner of the world. We saw nothing but politics on our Twitter trending page every day. The power our generation has found on TikTok alone is incredible. But even more so is the power we've created and found within ourselves and each other. We, more than anyone else, understand the power we hold in the world. And it's up to us to continue carrying our humanity with careful arms so that we end up being good people to one another, but mostly to ourselves. You may not see it yet, but I do. I see the strength, the empathy, the compassion, the love, and the ability to become whatever your heart desires in this class. You are not the leaders of tomorrow. You are already leaders right now. So thank you all for an amazing 4 years. It's been our absolute honor to watch you all bring your aspirations to fruition. Rama and I wish you the best in the brightest futures you all have ahead. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce our 2021 Poet Laureate, Shifa Tuel.
How's everybody doing today? Good. Are you guys ready? Do you remember the day we met? Clinging to our mother's legs, begging them to stay. But now, we can't seem to get far enough away. Will we remember the halls? They loomed so large, but day by day, step by step, we outgrew them. And now they seem so small. Will we remember our friends? Yes, please look around, class of 2021, as one. We made it, but will we remember those who didn't? It's been quite a year, all those deaths, and no, I don't mean to depress, but let's take a moment for those at rest. Our loved ones, no longer with us, our family, friends, and teacher. We fight for them. They're not gone, they're always with us, smiling as you move on. So why don't you smile too? They would be so proud of you. Our class knew loss before we even found who we are. That's how we know we'll go so far. Do you remember this time last year? We never even imagined being here. We were trapped in our homes, quarantined in our minds, but now, look, you made it. You're here. It may be the beginning of the end, but you faced your fears. Remember this. Raise your chin. Sometimes the light in the tunnel has to begin with your grin. Whatever your future may hold, whatever it is you've been told, I believe in you. We believe in you. So keep your chin up. Dear class of 2021, I hope you outgrow every hallway you pass, especially when you look back and reminisce on all those skipped class. I hope you learn to love your future tasks. And I hope that we are the change we need in this world. When you look back at this moment, I hope it's the start of that grin. That's how I know you'll remember what it means to remain a cougar. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Katie Doyle, Senior Class Council Member, and it is my pleasure to introduce the salutatorians for the class of 2021. To earn the distinction of salutatorian, a graduate must earn a collective grade point average of 4.0 to 4.164. With our system of weighted grades for advanced placement courses and the opportunity to earn a plus or minus within a letter grade, it is possible to accumulate a grade point beyond a 4.0. It takes dedication to academics to do so. Will the 29 salutatorians of the class of 2021 please stand so we can congratulate you? And now please welcome Emily Doyle, Student Government Officer.
Good evening. I have the honor of introducing the valedictorians for the class of 2021. It takes tremendous commitment to academics to earn the status of valedictorian. Each of these students has earned at least a 4.165 cumulative grade point average. A 4.165 is between the letter grade of A and A+. As Katie stated in her introduction of the salutatorians, a score above 4.0 is possible with the weighted grades and the plus and minus system. These 60 students have reached an admirable goal in earning the distinction of valedictorian. Valedictorians of the class of 2021, please stand and audience join me in congratulating our valedictorians. At this time, I would like to introduce Allison Hubble, the member of our class with the highest grade point average, who will give the valedictory address.
I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to all the Kennedy teachers, administrators, and staff. Thank you to my family and friends. And thank you, class of 2021, for helping me become the person I am today. Now, can I just say, this was nothing like the movies, or the TV shows, or the books. And trust me on that last one, I know. But seriously, can you think of a single plot line set in online school that would be interesting? All I'm saying is I probably wouldn't watch or read that. The one aspect of this year that I would say is useful for literary reproduction is potentially character development. After all, in these unprecedented circumstances, we have all been forced to change and adapt. And I, for one, can say that I am not the same person I was at the beginning of this year. We all dealt with pressures regarding the pandemic, social isolation, the derecho, adjusted classes, extracurricular activities, and like 400 decisions about our futures, prom, and everything in between. And somewhere along that way, I got a little lost. Instead of facing the pressures and responsibilities of my life, I turned to books. And this healthy coping mechanism turned obsessive and as a means of avoidance and escapism. Now on the bright side, if you need a book recommendation, I'm your person. But on the other hand, this habit was very detrimental to a lot of the things I cared a lot about, especially school. And I know I'm not the only one who struggled with motivation this year. Between adjusted online classes, senioritis, and all the additional pressures of senior year, it was totally justified. But as you might have guessed from me standing here on this stage right now, school for me was a really big deal. And then suddenly, I just didn't care. And that scared me. Honestly, it terrified me. Because as lame as it might sound, school is a big part of my identity. And so who was I without my school performance? Now, I struggled to reconcile with this for months. I tried to find my motivation and to care, but I couldn't. I no longer fit the mold of who I was and who I thought I would be. In the end, it was a teacher who communicated something to me that is so simple, but at the time was so profound. In a few more words, he said to me, "Allison, it is okay to not be who you expected to be."
And for me, it was as if I was waiting for permission. So in case any of you need to hear this as well, I'll repeat it. It is okay to not be who you thought you would be. It is okay to not be where you expected to be. And it is okay to not be who anyone else expects you to be. Now, this applies to every person here, but to my classmates, we're at a tipping point. It's a little scary, a little exciting, and very inevitable. So moving forward, if the person you are doesn't fit the life you have or the life you want, then it is okay to change. Embrace the opportunity to explore who you want to be. Learn more about yourself, your dreams and desires, your interests and passions, and where you fit in this world. Teach yourself to cook, learn a new language, try paddleboarding, or pick up a book. You can be whoever you want to be and who you need to be. Perhaps it's intimidating, but it's also liberating. You are the author of your story. As cliche as that sounds, you control this character arc. And just like every plot line, there are highs and lows, there are obstacles to overcome, and there is beauty along the way. Just remember that you choose who you want to be, and it is okay to not be who you expected to be. Thank you all, and congratulations, class of 2021. Go Cougs.
Our class has endured the loss of classmates, faculty, and staff, friends, and relatives throughout our 4 years at Kennedy. At this time, please join me in a moment of silent reflection to honor those who have passed on. Thank you.
This year, Kennedy will say goodbye to 3 staff members who have had an amazing impact on us. We consider them a part of the class of 2021 because they are leaving us as we graduate. Please stand as I call your name and remain standing during your introduction. Christian Chandler. Mrs. Chandler began working for the Cedar Rapids School District in 2000 as a para at Erskine Elementary. In 2003, she was able to work with a student, following him through the years until he was a student at Kennedy. When the student left, she was given the opportunity to stay at Kennedy. We have benefited from her decision. Mrs. Chandler is very involved in the classroom, known for her crazy holiday decorating, very kind heart, easygoing personality, and loving, gentle interactions with students and staff. She works with patience, with the goal of making all students successful. Her retirement plans include visiting national parks around the United States with her husband and spending time in Texas with her grandson. Thank you for your service of 21 years. Vera Ruhusky. Next, we have Mrs. Vera Ruhusky. Mrs. Ruhusky received her teaching certification from Mount Mercy College in U.S. and World History and still has a passion for studying history. She started teaching at Kennedy in 1995 as a long-term sub and was hired the following year to teach and has been with us ever since. We have been so blessed to call you a Kennedy Cougar for 25 years. She will be deeply missed by her students, especially those who she has adopted as her own all these years. She pushed her students hard to be their best, and they all appreciated and gained from her faith in them. "You can do this, I know you can," was heard daily from her classroom. Mrs. Ruhusky plans to come back to sub at Kennedy, but she looks forward to spending lots of time with her grandchildren and traveling. Mary Walschmidt. Mrs. Walschmidt wasn't always a teacher. She started her career as a research scientist, but she always had a deep love of literature, the arts, and humanities. This led her to pursue teaching. Her colleagues note that this combination became a teaching style colored with both a spirit of curiosity and critical thinking. Mrs. Walschmidt is also a travel lover, and her motto is, "Why fly over it when you can drive through it?" This is a great reminder to all of us to slow down and take in life. Her plans for retirement include getting to her book bucket list, studying Tai Chi, attending senior college, playing piano, and crocheting. She also wants to spend time volunteering and loving her children and grandchildren, and of course, to continue traveling, slowing down, and continuing to experience the world around her. We have a wonderful staff here at Kennedy High School. Teachers spend hours preparing lessons, making themselves available to students, and sharing their passions for educating with us. Paraprofessionals provide support to students to help them succeed. Our administrators and counselors open our eyes to opportunities outside of high school. The adults around us have provided wisdom, advice, and support to each of us throughout the past 4 years. In addition, this year they navigated online teaching, Google Meets, and GoGuardian. They do what they do to prepare us for our future because they care. At this time, I would like to ask all members of the Kennedy staff to please stand so our class and our families can thank you. Thank you for everything you have done for the class of 2021. And now, please welcome back Student Government Officer Katie Doyle.
This evening, I have the honor of introducing the Cedar Rapids Community School District's Board of Education. President Nancy Humbles, Vice President David Tominski, and Directors Jennifer Borscherding, Cindy Garlock, Jennifer Newman, Dexter Merschbrock, and Scott Riesinger. The board members devote countless volunteer hours to our schools. We appreciate your efforts as you deal with all the issues of overseeing our district. Please join us in thanking our board members, especially Mr. Borscherding, Mrs. Garlock, and Mr. Riesinger, who have joined us this evening. As with the Board of Education, the school district's central administrative team works diligently to maintain the quality of our schools. Please join me in welcoming Executive Director of High Schools, Cynthia Phillips. Ms. Phillips supports all aspects of high school education in our district and has been instrumental in the planning of this in-person ceremony. I'd like to introduce Deputy Superintendent Nicole Quaker. Ms. Quaker is responsible for direct administrative supervision of the Office of Learning and Leadership, supporting learning from pre-K to 12th grade. Thank you for joining us tonight. At this time, I would like to introduce Superintendent Noreen Bush. Mrs. Bush was named Superintendent of the Cedar Rapids Community School District in 2019 and continues to work tirelessly advocating for students, improving systems to achieve our vision and mission, and focusing on results to assure all students are ready for their future. Superintendent Bush.
Good evening. Welcome, Cougar Class of 2021, the class of a lot of firsts. The first school and class in our school district to return to in-person graduation. The first graduating class to go through not only 1 year, but 2 years of pandemic-impacted learning. The first graduating class to have a derecho impact not only your personal lives, but also prevent you from stepping into your school for half of the year. Indeed, you have experienced a lot of firsts. The journey to this moment may have felt like an eternity at times, and perhaps a blink of an eye at others. Your stories include a lot of firsts, but remember, your stories include a lot of Kennedy and Cougar spirit, resilience, and triumph. At this time in our history, our community experienced, yes, a pandemic, yes, a derecho, but our community also experienced innovation, advocacy, tenacity, and resilience. That is you. Class of 2021, you have done things that no other graduating class in CRCS district has ever done. So now, more than ever, let's honor what you all have gained during the last 13 years of your school life history. You have created a complete orchestra of learning, from in-person traditional coursework to synchronous learning to asynchronous learning, anytime, anywhere learning, at your own space and at your own pace. This is the absolute crescendo in the concert of your schooling. You have tackled so much, especially in the last 16 months, and you have done it with grace and wisdom. You are greatly admired by all of us here at the Cedar Rapids Community School District. To the families, community members, and staff that have guided these young men and women along their academic journey, I hold a deep respect for all of you, for your mentorship, your caring, your guidance that led them to this very important moment in their lives. So graduates, As an alumnus of the Cedar Rapids Community School District, I share your enthusiasm. I remember well the pride of this very moment on this very floor. Please know that we are cheering you on as you set yourselves into new adventures where you can begin to build your own unique history, where I am confident that those many firsts you experienced this year have prepared you so well for all the other firsts for the rest of your lives. So it is only fitting that we send you off thinking about those very next steps of your future. Our vision in Cedar Rapids Community School District is every learner future ready. So everyone in the arena, anyone who knows me, you know what's about to happen. We're gonna do a quick cheer for this class. When I say every learner, you say future ready. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up, crowd. I need to see that you are engaged in the motion. Here is your task. I say every learner, you say future ready for this class of graduates of 2021. 1, 2, 3. Every learner? Oh, better than that. Every learner. Congratulations, class of 2021. Go get them, Cougs. We believe in you.
At this time, I'd like to recognize all the students that sat on the stage and delivered their speeches. If you could give them a round of applause and thank them for the work that they did today. I can't begin to express my joy in seeing our soon-to-be graduates here tonight. For those of you that are watching live or later on at home as well, I am exceptionally proud of all of you. We have expressed our feelings about the last year in so many different forms and so many cliched phrases that I'm going to try my best to avoid those tonight. At last year's virtual commencement, I spoke of joy, how out of the pandemic that, at the time, felt like it could be winding down, we could choose to find the positives in life that come from struggle. Of course, the pandemic was not winding down. Things got incredibly worse. But tonight, I do feel that joy. I feel a sense of relief, not that COVID is still not a threat, as it clearly is, but that we have found ways to make things work, in some ways better than before all of this began. And I'm joyful to see you here, ready to receive your diploma and venture forth into adulthood. Joy springs forth from hope, and there is no one who embodies hope more than Noreen Bush. When Mrs. Bush took over this district, there were already all of the existing challenges any district leader would face. Then the pandemic hit. To be in her role was, and then have to deal with the pandemic, and then have to fight cancer, and then have to change the way we learn and implement health and safety guidelines that no one knew how to do, and then to get hit by the most destructive thunderstorm in U.S. history, closing every school building in her district, on top of all the other problems that every superintendent deals with. And to remain as joyful as she always is reflects on who she is. And so I think it's very necessary for all of us to thank her for the poise, compassion, and leadership she has blessed all of us with over the last year and a half. I know that we've already done this, but I have to do it myself. We have to thank a most special group of people in this arena. As they hunkered down in their homes, many of which were significantly damaged from the derecho, your teachers, counselors, and support staff and administrators never stopped working. All of us had no idea how to make things work for you, but they knew what they had to accomplish. They had to provide you with the skills, knowledge, and support you needed to make tonight happen. So I ask you graduates, take a second and find the people in this arena who were special for you and make eye contact with them right now and offer your gratitude to them. Of course, the same kind of gratitude goes out to every one of you, as well as your parents and your guardians. We've all engaged in a new way of living and learning and working from home for months on end, always together, always together. This new dynamic surely created new opportunities and maybe some new challenges for families. I bet that most of you never realized how important bandwidth was until all of this happened. Or maybe you never even knew what bandwidth was at all. Now you do. The reality is tonight is the marked moment of change for the American child's life. The commencement of adulthood comes with serious mixed emotions. As much as you and your parents are probably excited for the next steps, I know there is explicit and implicit trepidation, worry, and sadness. Because this is the night of precious lasts. Memories of your last time in their arms being rocked back to sleep, or the last time you hugged them when you had a scrape on your knee, or the last time you got off the bus and ran to their open arms, or whatever milestones that might come to your mind tonight. In so many ways, this night wraps those memories up. And so to you, our graduates, and to you, our wonderful families here to support them, thank you for doing the hard work of getting here tonight. Students, show your parents and guardians and families the love that they deserve, please. I want to leave you with just one thought before we read your names and send you forth. As this past year has been beyond trying, it has offered us a unique opportunity to evaluate the status quo. We speak of the return to normal that is coming, but I want to think of things a little differently, namely to go beyond normal and instead return to better. We have collectively lost too many loved ones and too much safety and security to simply hope that things go back to what we had before. How we remember normal is powerfully influenced by our own sense of self. We all possess a worldview that guides our beliefs and understanding of how the world does and should work. German philosophers call this Weltanschauung. Your Weltanschauung is built from many sources of information, notably your parents, guardians, close friends, experiences, culture, faith, and media. As you get older, your Weltanschauung changes and solidifies with experiences, triumphs, and tribulations. It's a very cool word, and it's kind of a cool concept, but it can get you stuck sometimes because if your beliefs about how things are or how they should be cloud the way that you see the things that are right in front of you, your thinking can become frustrating and stagnant. Sometimes profound things change our Weltanschauung, and consciously or unconsciously, we begin to approach ideas, concepts, and reality differently. One example of this is something called the overview effect. This concept was coined in the 80s, but was recognized when dozens of astronauts over many decades reported that their sense of understanding and of thinking was profoundly affected while they were in space. In a nutshell, the overview effect is a change in thinking experienced by astronauts after space travel. Scientists believe that seeing Earth from space, that is, a completely different perspective than we would normally view the planet, affects the way the brain works. In fact, some neuroscientists are researching the physical changes to the brain that space experiences may impact. What many astronauts have reported is that seeing the Earth as a whole, with all the land masses and oceans directly in front of you, clear as day, causes an immediate change in how you perceive the way people could or should interact. Astronaut Jessica Meyer, who was part of the first all-female spacewalk in 2019, noted that, quote, "Other than thinking it was incredibly beautiful, I felt this profound sense of connection." She went on to say that this change remained in place when she returned to Earth, altering how she viewed social and political problems. It seems unlikely that most of us will ever travel in space, although for your generation, it may be possible that some of you will be able to. But we can experience similar changes to the way we think here on Earth. What we experience personally and in connected ways can, if we allow it to, change our approach to thinking and understanding, and alter our entire Weltanschauung. I cannot imagine that the lockdowns of 2020 and 2021, the drastic changes to how we interact and connect with other people, the alterations to the way we work and learn, would not impact our worldview. The racial and social justice experiences of the past year, including the murder of George Floyd, most certainly have impacted us in profound ways. And our own personal triumphs and losses have been amplified over these last 14 months. All of this can transform what you believe, desire, and are motivated to do. But the conscious element of thinking is profound, and I leave you with some questions to contemplate. What will you make of the last year of your life? How will you let it shape you in the future? How will you open your own thinking to new and fresh ideas? How will you listen and learn about things you might disagree with? How will you engage in uncomfortable and difficult conversations? Polls and surveys are telling us that we are struggling to get along with people with whom we disagree. Our Weltanschauungen are pushing us further and further apart, resorting to labeling other people who have different ideas using pejorative terms. Of larger consequences that we are encamping so strongly with those whom we agree, more and more there is little challenge to the way we're thinking. Couple this with reduced social contact due to the pandemic, and we are sitting on a Weltanschauung time bomb. To counter this, we must consciously engage in becoming more understanding. You have the tools and skills to become incredible adults, all of you. But as you venture forth, I ask this of you. Please take time to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to continue to dialogue with each other. Find your own overview effect moments and allow them to change you. Listen to ideas you disagree with. Learn from other people. Treat everyone with kindness and respect. Ultimately, don't allow a desire for normal interfere with the hope and possibility of better. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please practice courtesy and respect for all of our graduates. Every parent and guest here would like to hear their child's name, so we ask that you hold applause and noise-making until all of the students have been acknowledged. Mrs. Borcherding, Mrs. Garlock, Mr. Riesinger, Superintendent Bush, the following students have met or exceeded the requirements for a Cedar Rapids Community School District diploma through their study at John F. Kennedy High School. Please come forward as I call your name. Samuel Albers, Kenneth Robert Allaire, Alexandra Anderson, Hannah Anderson. Jenna Anderson. Cole Ahrensdorf. Elena Marie Avalar. Annalise Eve Avalar. Elizabeth Michelle Bagby. Avante Bollinger. Gabriel Barnes. Grace Lauren Barr. Sophia Danae Barrett. Drew Bartles. Gavin Bascom. Samuel Basler. Peyton Basquin. Bethany Bathurst. Caitlin Beechner. Claire Eileen Beeman. Jameson Bean. Kylie Bentley. Jillian Claire Biskupski. Haley Neve Bisson. Zayden Bumke. Jonathan Borhave. Elijah Noah Brand. Nana Bruce. Olivia Briner. Hunter Dean Baumgarter. Mateo William Dean Burke. Quinn Champenois. Arun Chetri. Chloe Christian. Lexi Joe Clark. Connor Colby. Hannah Cole. Courtney Cole. Olivia Sophie Conrad. Amelia Grace Copley. Jordan Eileen Corey. Jalen Anthony LeRae Cotton. Andrew Michael Colburn. Matthew LaVale Creighton Jr. Connor Newton Cummins. Kiera Daniels. William Scott Davidson. Cameron Davis. Dennis Davis. Casey Davis. Heather Marietta Day. Isabella De Leon. Kira DeBrouwer. Jackson DePamphilis. Mukti Dakal. Landon Deal. Maya Dodge. Emily Doyle. Catherine Doyle. Hugh Martin Duffy. Gabriella DuPont. Caitlin Dutton. Natalie Francis Dvorak. Will James Dyer. Thomas Dye. Kendall Edgerly. Quentin Joseph Ellis. Cassidy Lynn Ellison. Rafa El Sheikh. Rama El Sheikh. Elizabeth Marie Evans. Nakia Lynn Evans. John Fan. Maverick Finch. Anna Finley. Madeline Ann Fitzgerald. Jackson Ford. Natalie K. Franco. Ian James Fries. McKenna Ray Freoff. Alyssa Jordan Friedley. Alexis Callie Marie Fritz. Jeffrey Allen Fuchs. Adeline Furman. Emily Grace Fusselman. Bryce Ray Garber. Gavin Garber. Natalia Rose Maria Garcia McNamara. Ave Garrett. Brittany Ann Gearhart. Ashton Gine. Gavin Gertis. Morgan May Gerst. Giuseppe John Gianforte. Serena Elizabeth Gianetto. Abigail Elise Guinap. Emily Elizabeth Gifford. Micaiah Gilchrist. Shay Glaw. Davon Maurice Gott. Sarah Catherine Grams. Nick Grant. Alyssa Ann Gray. Lauren Ann Gray. Abigail Ellen Green. Ella Greenlee. Olivia Griffin. Brendan Scott Groth. Ellen Gunnifson. Binda Gurung. Tarek John Habhab. Ashton Lee Hageman. Jenna Taylor Hageman. Grace Hanrahan. Anna Eileen Hansen. Leslie Ann Hargis. Kayla Hari. Dayton James Hossey. McKenna Hogan. Jonathan Hoskins. Carolyn Hayes. Danny Paul Heminger III. Kendallin Herlocker. Lane Harridge. Lydia Heshe. Leah Karen Heemstra. Samantha James High. Aaliyah Ann Hilgendorf. Logan Michael Hill. Alexis Hockaday. Ashley Eileen Haneke. Delaney Catherine Holtai. Nicholas Glenn Hobson. Joshua Horn. Emily Hornet. Alyssa Ann Howe. Drake Daniel Howe. Braden Thomas Hoyer. Elise Marie Rabick. Cole Rubis. Allison Hubble. Ralston Huber. Lauren Nicole Hughes. McKenna Hewlett. Garrett Humbert. Wessner Jackson. Raisa Jacobs. Logan Yakubek. Taliesin James. Jared Jameson. Bryce Allen Henry Jansen. Simon Lee Jennett. Octaviana Jennings. Benjamin Jones. Gary Johnson. Kiana Johnson. Nevaeh Johnson. Pittman Jones. Daniel Juarez Estrada. Peyton Marie Keck. Cameron Michael Kelso. Ramesh Karka. Gabrielle Ann Kilgore. Drake Kinney. Ethan Carr. Adam Cleese. Andrew Cleese. Lindsay Klein. Kale Knox. Callie Marie Koltoff. Vendatha Vishnu Kampella. Eli Kramer. Lauren Krause. Samuel Hayes Lamont. Shay Larson. An Lee. Victoria Lee. Hunter James Leven. Lindsay Marie Lesmeister. Rachel Irene Lester. Angel LaSure. Logan Lewandowski. Jennifer Lickup. Paige Lindo. Cale Robert Long. Brody Lovell. Shallon Luckman. Dylan Lurkins. Grant Lucan, Max Luton, Gabe Jeffrey Mako, Lydia Ann Mackey, Aaliyah Grace Malley, Lydia Claire Marino, Whitney Markham, Kaylee Ann Martin, McKenna Marie Martindale, Jamie Martin Trainer, Carly Ann Mather, Lindsay Nicole Mattis, Ty McFarland, Jack McGrain, Luke McGrain, Jalen McKinley, Jacob McLeod, Shania Lee McNeil, Emma Marie Meese, Ayala Lee McConovic, Casey Ann Meyer, Cecilia Meyer, Adam Mickelson, Audrey Marie Miller, Naomi Miller, Sujan Mishra, Kate N. Moyu, Corey Darnell Moore, Evan Nicholas Moser, Benny Mubaki, Brendan Murders, Elizabeth Muscle, Skylar Musel, Rufaro Musque, Presley Thomas Moosman, Thomas Doncor Mutombo, Christopher Nanez, Duimana Magnifique, Olivia Michelle Nesbitt, Lynn Wynn, Grace Nemeth, Aiden Novak, Mitchell William Oberfell, Divian James Ochiltree, Connor David Onazord, Emma Ort, Lexi Claire Olson, Zoe Olson, Willard Orton, Sydney Garnett Osborne, Eleni Ann Osterkamp, Daniel Padilla, Quan Paycor, Reed Curtis Packabir, Elia Palma, Abigail J. Pape, William Pardupsky, Addison Parker, Allison Parker, Olivia Pekanowski, Connor Perkins, Aubrey Peterson, Lucas Peterson, Alex Elizabeth Peterson, Kyle Peterson, Ty Fiffner, Jack Pham, Amber K. Pinter, Deontay Terrell Powell Reed, Varanavi Prasad, Alan Rackle, Anastasia Radionova, Emily Morgan Reed, Bailey Reeder, Jordan Renner, Kinsey Reynolds, Olivia Riley Schmelzer, Alex Rivera, Marcus Ray, Ian Robles Vargas, Sophia Valterra Diane Rodriguez, Tava Joe Roman, Anderson Brent Ropa, Xander Rossman, Jared Clarence Sequitney Darrington, Sammy Marie Sams, Dahlia Sark, Kaylee Marie Saunders, Jamie Judith Scheck, Samantha Elizabeth Scheck, Kaylin Nicole Sherbring, Dane Christopher Schurer, Caleb Schlake, Tanner Schulte, Erica Schulte, Kyle Schumacher, Anna Searle, Kayla Searcy, Elizabeth Severson, Samrithi Sharma, Emily Grace Shaw, Joshua Quinn Sheely, Abigail Rose Sherban, Alexis Marie Shimmick, Trendon Jogger Short, Zelda Siegel, Alexa Lynn Sievert, Alexis Sims, Dylan Sines, Maya Rose Syver, Allie Shuley, Elijah Samuel Slaymaker, Megan Ann Slinger, Nicholas George Smetzer, Ayub Smith, Lauralee Rose Snyder, Mina Song, Cody Spiegelhalter, Haley Spurgeon, Kaylin Faith Storer, Olivia Stremke, Kaylee Marie Stroh, Carl Stutzman, Preston Scott Sullivan, Wiley Sullivan, Star Marie Swain, Maya Elizabeth Swires, Maggie Rose Talbot Malone, Caleb Matthew Talley, Yamarai Tim James Tavaziva, Mawada Tuwil, Shifa Tuwil, Aiden Tawney. Grayson Arthur Mills Taylor. Grace Tekow. Olivia May Toll. Jaya Ann Thomas. Gwendolyn Eve Thompson. Mercedes Timmerman. Braxton Torgerson. Rogelio Roman Torres. Dakota Michael Torrey. Marcus Isaiah Travis. Scott David Treptow. Jesse Ann Trujillo. Zoe Trumpold. Francine Shabuila. Emily Twombly. Ellie Usher. Jacob Vandersanden. Aiden Anthony Veit. Mackenzie Taylor Vick. Liam Way. Dawson Evans Walker. JC Christine Wall. Zari Washington. Anna Elizabeth Waters. Jenna Lee Waybill. Paige Elizabeth Weber. Max Hawkins White. Zoe Marie White. Parker Wild. Ben Franklin Wilding. Callie Wilhelm. Harrison Wills. Corina Wilson. Bailey Wolf. Jaden Wood. Matthew Scott Worthington Barnes. Trishelle Wyckoff. Lucas Young. Reagan Zachman. Grace Zimmerman. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021. We have a tradition at Kennedy that we started several years ago where the seniors take a moment to record thank yous to the people who have helped them get this far. And so at this time, please enjoy the class of 2021 senior thank you video.
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, and Coach Thompson for always holding me accountable.
I'd like to thank my family, my friends, my teachers, and my coaches for making me the best student I can be.
Thank you to my teachers and my coaches for always pushing me to do better.
I'm just really happy that I got to play a role in so many different things at Kennedy and really experience the culture that came with it.
I'd like to thank Mr. Bova for being an awesome homeroom teacher, Mrs. Harger for always encouraging me to try new things, and Mr. Ziegler for all of the great show choir memories.
Two of my favorite memories from Kennedy were just being on the cheer team and the DC trip for Torch.
One of my favorite memories from Kennedy were pep assemblies and seeing our whole class come together. We had a lot of fun.
I just want to thank all of my teachers who made my 4 years at Kennedy awesome and made it possible for me to succeed. So thank you.
Buddy, Finley, Howard, Malco, Enoch, Bollinger, Magnuson, Becker, Benedict, Langton, Collins, Rubis, Horton, Wagner, McNowan, Fondlersher, Innes, Peterson, McConnell, Anderson, Lindo, Johnson, Hendricks, Woodhouse, Hauser, Miller, Neff, Steinmetz, Heeman, Welchman, and Corey. Thank you.
Thank you, Senora Harger, Miss Merritt, Miss Malone, Mr. Neff, and Mr. Benedict.
I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Merritt, Mr. Anderson, Miss O'Connell, and Mr. Wacker for helping me get through high school and helping me apply for college.
I want to thank Miss McConnell and everybody else that helped me throughout the years. It really means a lot.
Hi, I wanted to say thank you to everyone, all my family, friends, and teachers to help me and encourage me, and without them I wouldn't be here on this day. I still can't, thank you to everyone. Still can't believe I'm graduating sometimes.
I just want to say thank you to two of the most important teachers probably here in Kennedy. Mr. Neese was awesome when I had him my sophomore year. Unfortunately, it had to end early, but he was an amazing teacher. And Mr. Evans, I just want to give him a big thank you because he really helped me get through my junior year. So thank you guys.
I would like to thank my family for their support, and I also want to thank my coaches for teaching me how to believe in myself. And last, I want to thank my friends for all the memories we had through the past 4 years.
I just wanted to say thank you to all my family, friends, and teachers who have supported me throughout my high school career.
I'm just teacher Hio. I'd like to thank my mom, Kristen from Voc Rehab, Mrs. Dasney, Miss Dina, Mr. Musker, and Kristen Hernandez for helping me work hard, get better grades, and help me with my confidence.
I really just want to thank two specific teachers that I have in mind. So when I was out sick my freshman year, I really want to thank Miss Jacobson for helping me to stay on track with all the other students so I wasn't left behind, and Mr. McCown for always pushing me to do better and the same as all the other students that are doing. But all my teachers get all my thanks and praise.
A few of the teachers that I'd like to shout out are Senora Harger for always being there just to have a conversation about life. Mr. Tully for also the same reason and just teaching me how to be a better writer. And then Miss Casper because we'd always have so much fun in her class and I was the only one who ever went in person.
I just wanted to say thank you to my parents for helping me through high school, and I wanted to say thank you to Kennedy just as a school.
I want to thank Miss McAtee for guiding me through Algebra 2. I had a lot of struggles with that and she really helped me through it.
Yeah, I want to thank Bollinger for sticking through me with these 5 years of high school and just helping me, inspiring me to pursue Chinese.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Viss. He's been the best teacher for the last 4 years that I've been here, and he has listened to all of my sob stories and all of my friends' sob stories and has let us cry in his room, and I just want to say thank you for being supportive.
I want to thank everyone who helped me get here and everyone I met along the way.
I'd like to thank Miss Newland for the years she gave me while she was here, and I would also like to thank the parents that helped me throughout the years. And also I'd like to thank the teachers that helped me and Mr. Klein that made it possible for me to come to Kennedy.
I'd like to thank Ms. Casper, Mr. Carroll, and Mr. Brown for supporting me and helping me realize my goals as I go through high school.
I
I wanted to thank Mr. Viss for being a great soccer coach and always being super inclusive with everyone who comes to the program.
I want to give a big thank you to my mom. It's not easy being a single mother in today's world, and you've done everything you can and more to help me be the person I am today. Grandma Jackie, Grandpa Dennis, you guys have helped me through the long haul, and I appreciate everything you've done. I love you guys.
I would like to thank my parents and my teachers who have encouraged me to excel in my academic journey. They, in their own unique ways, have expanded my worldview.
I want to thank Mr. B, Miss McAtee, and Miss O'Connor for always encouraging me to be a better version of myself and always making class fun. I would like to thank Mr. B for making my 4 years at high school more enjoyable and making me actually want to attend class.
I'd like to thank Mr. Tolley, Mr. Evans, Mrs. Bowers, and Miss Finley for always supporting me in my educational endeavors.
And then I'd like to thank Mr. Tolley, my parents, and then also Maggie for helping me get through high school.
Thank you to our families. Thank you to our friends. Thank you to our teachers.
And thank you to the people that made us happy the most.
Hi, my name is Shifa Tawil. I'd like to thank every single one of my teachers for being a teacher, a mentor, a parent, and a friend. Kennedy has become my home, a blissful escape, and that would not have been possible without every single one of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Flair and Mr. Wacker, for making all 4 years memorable.
And thank you, Mr. Horton and Mrs. Rubis. Thank you, Dr. McNee and Miss Bova.
Thank you, Mrs. Finley and Mrs. Buddy.
Thank you, anyone who has ever taught me or looked at me in the hallways.
I want to give a shout out to Mrs. McAtee for making math somehow enjoyable to learn. I also want to give out a shout out to Mr. Corey for making Econ and Gov one of the most fun classes.
Thanks to Mr. Tolley and Mrs. Casper for always supporting me as a student and a writer.
Hi, we want to thank Mr. Ziegler for giving us the best senior year possible.
And for always making choir class something to look forward to.
You're the best choir director and teacher we could ever ask for. We're so grateful for you.
We love you!
I'd just like to thank all the clubs at Kennedy that put so much work into our school, like MVP, BSU, and the yearbook. They all do a lot for us. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you to all my friends and family throughout these past 4 years. They've been challenging, but I stuck through. Thank you, Mr. Klein, and thank you, Miss Wessels, and thank you to all my teachers. Seniors, we did it.
I'd like to thank Mr. Hoyer because for these past 4 years, he's really been like a father figure to me. Well, really, kind of like my whole life.
I want to thank my family for always supporting me and being there for me. Love you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021.